you can see me Googling how to spell incorporated. So yeah, this is one of those stupid streams I do where there's actually, this is part of a new series of streams I'm doing, hopefully, um, where I stream just whatever I want. When I want to start doing some of these tier lists, just off some stuff that's going on. Alright, cool. Everything sounds good. So here we are. This is every villain in Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated. I rewatched this whole show over the last few months. I want to say 2 months. It's my favorite animated show of all time. I won't shut up about it. Big inspiration on Station Square stories, so that's why I decided to rank it. They have like every like even minor character in here. So, and keep in mind, this is a show I think there's not an episode that I feel like is bad. Just like some that are better than others. So we start off with the Demon Pizza from the Poltergeist episode, or like the haunting of Fred's dad's house, where spoiler alert for a show that's like over 10 years old, where like his dad's being haunted for his piece of the planispheric disc by Professor Pericles, and yeah, it's just one of the haunts in it. Now I don't know how brutal to be, because if I'm being very brutal, I should put this in bad, but it's really not bad. I think it's just like, I don't know if there's anything in this I would call necessarily bad. I'm gonna say bad is more pointless, or like more situational. So I'm gonna put it in bad for now. Maybe we'll readjust later. The Demon Children from the episode with El Horrifico. Damn, I got some zest on that accent. Um, yeah, they're just kids who are paid with candy to be little terrible children, which is kind of funny, but at the same time, um, this actually would be one of the more effective villains on me because I hate kids. So that would work. But I think their usage in the episode is good. They have some good scenes in that last scene where they're in the house and they're all flooding in. I'm gonna put it at good. Danny Darrow is that's one of the most memorable episodes of the show to me, and the performance and just how you get to know him and how he's kind of a tragic character. It's like, it's good. I mean, it's amazing. And then you get the another piece of the planispheric disc there, and yeah, there's not much more I can say about that episode. I like that it's kind of like a Saw movie almost, with them going down there, getting all put in their traps, and it's just like a lot more on the nose with the trap stuff. It's really cool. Next we have was it the demon goat? Well, it's the piranha goat. That can go there. It's not a villain in an episode. It's just a cameo, basically, or a cold open, used to set up the sheriff episode with Dead Justice. I think the episode's just called Dead Justice. So yeah, we don't even know who it is, but the design's okay. It's just pointless. The rock monster from either episode 41 or 42, or is it 45 and 40? I don't remember. I should stop. Oh, it's 47 or 48. The rock guy, one of the few 100% real villains in the show. It's okay. I think it serves its purpose as far as like the episode. I kind of want to put it in bad, just based on the fact that I don't like the use of CG in the show, except for one episode that we'll get to. I think the use of the 3D doesn't work for me. It's the one downside I would say to the show, is that if the whole show was more like in that the style it's in, I think it would be flawless art wise throughout. It's just kind of dreary and awful, and just like, I think I'll put it in bad it's kind of on the same level as pizza. Are they the evil Anunnaki people from the end of the show who are throwing people to the demons to eat? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about. I like the visual. I think it also like it ties into Scooby Doo, like the talking animal people who come out every generation. But I still don't think it's super well explained why they're here. In particular, like the bird and those people, unless I'm not paying attention well enough, which is totally viable. It's the one villain I totally um, maybe don't have enough context on to rank, but I will put it in good as I like the ending of the show. The Instapobots, I think, is it Unstoppa or Instappa? I don't know. It's just they're kind of like they're okay for what they are. Like they serve their purpose, but they are just generic robots. They are like World War II Nazi robots, which is kind of random and very weird. So, but they are kind of lazy. I'm gonna put Instapobots at the top of bad. Um, is that? I don't even know what that second one is. We'll get to that. Here is. What is that? Turn my brightness up. That appears to be the. Oh, it's the cicada creature. So the cicada creature is the best use of CG in the show. And I think it doesn't stand out as much. And it actually looks decent. Maybe it's just because it's darker colors. I don't mind it as much. But yeah, I think it's good. I would actually say it's very good. That's a very memorable episode. One of the few episodes that freaked me out. And I'm trying to figure out what this photo is of. I think it's a junk, but I'm looking to see if junk shows up anywhere else. And I'm wrong. Because like my vision's really bad. I think that's supposed to be junk. No, that's junk. What is that? No, I don't even know what that is. I have my. Is that the robot that? Oh, what was his name? The nerdy kid. Oh, Jason Wyatt built. Is that just a spider robot? Okay. Yetigo, you're not that bad. Yetigo, whatever. Then you got the nerds from that one episode, the Wild Brood. That's the evil one. I wish I'm gonna put him in good. I like that episode. It's okay. I'm gonna put him in good. I like the design. I think it's lazy that. I guess it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it because he's framing the leader of the Wild Brood. And it's just some other nerd, which is kind of lame, but yeah. He belongs in good. I think good. I like the design of the Wild Brood. If we're just lumping them all together, here is that weird worm from that one Vincent Van Gogh movie. I'm just gonna put that in worst because it's pointless. The gargantunauts. It's the War of the. So this is a cool episode to me. One of my favorite episodes to me because it is based off a Toho movie where there is two monsters who are fighting. More of the. How am I not remembering how to say this word? I like the Toho movie. I've seen the Toho movie. I love Godzilla, obviously. More of the Gargantuas. And then Scooby Doo. Humongonauts. So there's the. Yeah. So it's a reference to that kaiju movie. I love kaiju movies, so it's cool. one of those ones where like I think the Mr. E clue's unnecessary because it's so on the nose that it's the insurance people, but I like the action. No shade on the creeper. I'm not about to throw shade on my boy. But his purpose in the show is pointless, except for the fact that he's allegedly the dad of one of the other characters, but you later find out that's not true. As far as his purpose in Mystery Incorporated as a whole, he's bottom tier. Gnome Boy is he's memorable. Yeah, and that he's taking out the pirates. That's a cute concept. The Renaissance Fair is coming up where I live. I think it's coming around or just did come around. Um, yeah, I also think the concept of him grabbing your face and like it all swelling up and being gross is really cool to me. I like that episode, so I think he goes at the bottom of very good. These are the skeletons from the one episode where they're on the movie set, just in like one scene, kind of pointless. This is the Spanish conquistador guy from the end of the episode with hot dog water, where they're on the mountain with the soccer ball and all that stuff. Um, I love his inclusion as a character. I don't know whether to tie this into the through the curtain or whatever episode where like they go and they get hypnotized and they get thrown in there. I think that counts towards his points. I'm gonna count that towards his points. I'm sure that other monster's on here too, though, right? The freak, the freaky freak. Because there's two versions of the freak. There's the first freak and the second freak. Did they not put the freak on here? They had to have. They got like every other minor. Oh, there he is. I don't see the regular freak. Oh, there he is. Okay. So, yeah, he's a cool character. Is it Fry? Oh, no. Okay, whatever. He's going in good. Good. This is Brad and Judy, I believe. I will put them in very good. They're like, their shtick does get a bit old to me throughout the show, but it's okay. I like their relationship with Fred. I think the one episode where they help them out really helps with the heartbreak of Fred getting betrayed by his real parents as well as his fake parents. And that Man in the Mirror episode is pretty good. Yeah, and I think them turning on each other as like time goes on is also a really interesting dynamic to add in the show. Yeah, I love uh, their inclusion. Probably not very much not my favorite member of OG Mystery Incorporated though. Here we have the aliens from Aliens Among Us, where Sheriff Bronson Stone, who would be in best if this was just characters, played by none other than Joe Swanson himself. Um, they're kind of boring alien designs, and also not one of my favorite episodes. I like the spooky space kook costume, but once you see like the wanted poster on the wall and like they point it out, it's like, well, it's gonna be them. Yeah. Even though it's not one of my favorite episodes, once again, I think this whole show is perfect. Like, all the way through. Like, I think as an experience, it's perfect. Obviously, everything ebbs and flows a little bit. But I'm going to put this at the top of bad in comparison to everything else. I'm also going to try and be very selective with best. So, just keep that in mind. Here we have the Fright Hound from whatever episode. I don't know titles. I shouldn't be saying that. Where like Scooby gets framed and he gets thrown in the institution. It also sets up meeting Pericles and all the other people. One of the less interesting design-wise, as it's literally just Scooby-Doo, but he's a robot and he's got sharp teeth and some different facial features and red eyes. So not one of my favorites. I would put him in good. It's a good addition to the show. And then this just appears to be. Is this just the Benevolent Lodge of Mystery, or is it all of the. It appears to be all the other Mystery Inc. people, like all the previous generations of mystery solvers throughout the years. I love their inclusion in the show as far as like how they help the story, but describing them as villains, I'm disconnected, reconnecting, reconnection successful. Okay, Ghost Rig. Cool. It's one of the earliest episodes, I think. It's like episode 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. I don't know. Just keep going with that list. Um, and it left an impression on me as whenever they're facing, it's like not a monster, it's a ghost truck. And it's not as like iconic as like a Redbeard's ship from like Where Are You or anything like that, but it's still like cool just to get a haunted thing. There's also an episode of What's New where like the mystery machine gets taken over. Um, I would put it in very good. And then Rung Latterton is also a goat. The Gluten Demon is good. A solid episode, solid monster design. Also get to see really big Shaggy and Scooby if you're into that. And then they get to throw down in one of the rare moments where like they're really brave and stuff, and it's kind of cool. We have Van Gogh in one of his movies. I'm just gonna not even bother with that. I love Vincent Van Gogh though. I think he's a great inclusion in the show. Junk, um, Randy Warsaw or something. Also, probably the second best use of CG um, in the show. Below the bees for the cicada creature. But yeah, um, it doesn't stand out as much as something we're gonna get to in a fat second. It's fine. I like Junk. I like the episode. And also just like the plot of who is it? Daphne. Daphne is going out on her own to solve the mystery because they're all preoccupied with whatever Warsaw's got them doing. Junk is good. Good. The Red Dragon. I love this because it's Johnny Quest. I love season 1 of Johnny Quest. Um, I honestly haven't seen any other Johnny Quest. I just love that first season I have on DVD. I watch that DVD quite consistently. It's like a 3-disc set. It's awesome. All those episodes are legit, even though they're problematic. I can admit they're problematic. But you get into Zen, even though Zen doesn't have a huge impact on those first few episodes, I don't know if kind of want to do a deep dive into Johnny Quest in the future and just see what he's all about. But this is good. It's good or very good. I do like the emotional heartstrings that get pulled on a little bit where you find out he has some humanity. Also, Mr. E's in the episode, and I really like Mr. E. I'm going to put him at very good. Probably bottom of very good for the Red Dragon. Skull Cattle. They look terrible. I'm not going to lie. As far as the episode itself goes, crazy, awesome. I'm going to put them below the aliens just because they look stupid. And below the Unstoppabots. They sit there. They're in bad because they look bad. The episode itself's not terrible. If they all look like the Queen does here, the Queen looks fine. The Queen I'll even throw in good because she doesn't look stupid. I'm not someone who cares like in video games. I don't care about graphics quality or anything like that. Or like when I watch videos on YouTube, I can watch videos at 480p. I'm freaking stickler. I'll watch stuff in 4:3. I don't care. But for some reason, the CG of the skull cattle stands out to the point where it's distracting, and I think that's the problem with it. This is the shrunken head from the episode with the demon body. It's the head itself is. I wouldn't even consider it the third and worst in comparison. Crybaby clown. It's a two-parter, so and he's played by freaking Mark Hamill. He's gotta go at bottom of best. One of the most memorable. Nice story with the gang getting back together after breaking up. Hot Dog Water's inclusion, and also interesting that it's the only time in the entire Scooby-Doo series, to my knowledge, where they do an episode, they don't solve the mystery, they do a different episode to do a different mystery, and then they come back to this one. So that's really interesting. Makes you wonder what he's doing in the middle of the other episode a little bit, but I won't question it. It's really cool. Cryberry Clown's really effective and really awesome. Gatorsburg is going in bottom of very good. It's at the bottom. It's because the costumes and everything, it's so obvious to the point where it's kind of stupid, but it's still really good. I like that episode a lot, and it sets up how the show starts. It sets up Shaggy and Velma's arc. It sets up Fred and Daphne's arc. Scooby kind of felt like he's being left alone, kind of that kind of stuff. So that's where that is. Here is the evil entity. If we're just judging it, this is probably going to be one of the hardest to do, because he's just a bad force of evil and whatever, but he's also like, because like, do I count him for causing the whole show, or do I just count him based on the villain himself that I see in the last two episodes? I'm gonna say he goes in top of, probably bottom of best, just because he makes this whole series happen, so I gotta give him some credit. But he's also pretty cool. And I like his design after he swallows Pericles and becomes a giant parrot, and then for some reason becomes a freaking octopus or squid. It's really random, but kind of cool. The evil entity is cool. It's cool. Just another Van Gogh thing. Don't even think he counts. The lobster, the giant crab from like episode 3 or 4, with the volleyball tournament. Really cool. One of the episodes that gets played a lot on like TV, because it doesn't really have a lot of story. Whenever I see this on TV, it's either this episode, the Ghost Rig episode, the first episode, or those are the three I've seen it like on TV, because I think they just play those because those don't have like the overarching story content, and they just don't want to commit to like replaying a whole series. But you should watch the whole series. Really good, very good, I would say even. We'll see if I go through and rank all these later, but I'm confident I'm very good. I like the little platform he uses to get up under the sand and stuff. Manticore, Hot Dog Water, one of the most memorable episodes to me. I would say I remember the Manticore pretty well. I'll go through and I'll rank these at the end because I'm gonna have to, except for worst. The worst is basically spots. Those are just the extras from Van Gogh's movie thing. Scare Bear. We're on Scare Bear. Scare Bear is one of the least interesting to me, design wise. I like the episode, and like, I think it sucks because he kind of ends up being a nice guy and is just trying to get back at Destroido. So yeah, I'll rank these later, but I think he doesn't get past good. I think he's in good. Night Fright. Really cool design and everything. Really fun episode too. He does kind of. I feel like he probably gets diminished just based on the fact that he does kind of get bitched out at the end of his episode, for lack of a better term, and he just is kind of he's like, just be scared of me, please, and he's just kind of begging for it. So he gets some points off for that. Ooh, Rude Boy and the Scott-tastics. That's an easy best for me. That episode with the Hex Girls, one of my favorite episodes of the show, by far. So that is going in the best Hex Girl episode, which I believe there are only 2 in the series. So that's cool. Here we have the Hodag. a fun story about the Hodag. When I was in um, mental health treatment, which this is oversharing, um, I was in Wisconsin for that, and they were all talking about the Hodag because they had heard about it in legends because it's a Wisconsin thing, and I'm also Midwest, so it's kind of cool to see this legend in Scooby Doo. Hodag, I don't think it's past. Is he very good or is he just good? I think he's good. Good in comparison to everything else. Good. Next up, we have Chargar Gothicon, the beast who have no name. Um, really cool, fun episode at the college. I believe that's the. No, you don't deserve that. First episode where they go to Darrow College. Really fun, really awesome, and just like totally. Like I like it's like um, Lovecraftian influence and really dark atmosphere throughout it. And like, um, I do like the character of Hatecraft in the show and his rivalry with the other guy, um, Harlan Ellison, um, and like the technology he uses, and just like how he's gonna the mad student who's gonna kill his professor just because he's admitting his work's wrong. El Horrifico, played by one. What's the girl's name? Fred Jones. Oh, a very good episode. She does she outrank the kids? Design wise, she does. Her plan's kind of stupid, but I don't think the plans have to be good necessarily. I think she's probably top of good too. That's just a chick for some movie. The Graveyard Ghoul is probably another one of my lesser episodes to me. Just one that doesn't stand out as much. And the fact that the whole point of the episode is it's the most obvious suspect. And like, it's just, it's weird. It's weird. Um, and I don't like honestly, the side story with the weird girls and like everything. It's, I, it's one of those things where I get why they do it to like split the gang up and like cause tension within it, but like it's like, why are you being so stupid right now, Fred? Here's Krampus. Krampus is a solid. Is he good? I think he's very good, just because he sets up the plot, and the fact that it was all a ruse and like none of it, well, it happened, but the fact that the mystery incorporated actually pulled it off is what makes it stand out so much. And so for that reason, I will put it in very good. And I do like the effect where like he screams and like the hair pops out of his head. Jebediah, whatever the hell. You all shall be judged. Probably bottom of very good, but still very good. Fun episode with the soccer guys. I don't remember their names. One of them's Ethan. And yeah, they're playing just to get chicks. I also find very funny. Not my favorite design of anything, but also cool. Also sets up like one of the lesser known like reoccurring characters. What's his name? I am an actor. I don't remember his name. He's also in this episode, Theater of Doom, with another kind of generic, but kind of what I want. So he's top of very good. I'll rank him later, but I'll put him at the top there. Where like he's also one of the first cases where you see real dark, real evil in the show, and like he's like also George Avocados, but you also get the red herring where the real guy shows up at one point, and then yeah, it's kind of crazy. I also like George Avocados as a character. Dougal McGinnis is the guy, the actor guy. I liked that. Um, and his 2 episode appearance, I think. We're getting down to it. This is the freak of Crystal Cove that is in the dream world. He sits in very good. Not as iconic as the other freak, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, very good. He's freaking actually scary. His episode does suffer a little bit just from the fact that like 4 times he does the same thing. Like the gang goes and sees one of the keys, and then he shows up behind them, and then they run away. Whatever. Fish freaks, they hit good. I would say. Are they good or are they very good? I'd say they're just good, just based on the fact that there's 4 of them, then you see them again, then you see the 4 protesters, and then you pretty much, you can discern it from there. I don't remember what this guy's name was at all. Which is weird because it's a Hex Girl episode. He also is only very good. He's just being a dick because he lost his career, which I would understand if that was upsetting, but you know, you can't win them all, bud. So, he's only in good. The episode itself is also kind of early on, and it's also when Daphne shuts out Fred for the first time. So it's also a very important episode, but nothing. I don't think it's an episode I would rewatch outside of watching the whole series. Which I think is one of the problems with this series as a whole is I can't kind of just pick up an episode and watch it. Season 1's easier to do that with than Season 2, definitely, but, you know, that's what's cool about Where Are You is I can pop in Disc 2 of Where Are You and enjoy it and, like, not have to think about, oh, where am I at in the story? The Dream Weaver. Really cool concept, really memorable. With the head, with the dream weaving, obviously, and then like the running joke in the show with them saying they love whatever more than their own children is also kind of funny to me. Here is Dead Justice from the episode Dead Justice. He's good. He's good. I tend to not care for. This is a personal preference thing. It's kind of been a personal preference my whole life. Whenever they do anything Western, I tend not to care that much. Like, even if we're talking about movies, Shaggy Showdown, I don't think registers very high. Yeah, it's just never clicked. I know there's a few. I think all the episodes of What's New with kind of a Western feel also aren't my favorite. So, yeah, that's that. I'm trying to determine what this is. I kind of want to get to it just because I'm worried. I don't know. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out. Oh, that's just the mermaid. It's just the. But that's not a villain. It's not a villain. There's no point. Oh, I brought her up. This is from the last, like, normal episode, I would say. Where they go to the jungle to get the heart of the jaguar. And there's just another convenient thing happening with this lady. And it ends up just being a whole ploy for love, which is cute. Good. With Velma's mom. I like that they also did this thing where like certain side characters kind of got to be side by side with the gang in certain episodes. They did it with Brad and Judy in the Grim Judgment episode. Velma's mom in this episode. Professor Pericles in the Aphrodite episode. And yeah, kind of Mr. E in the Red Dragon episode, but not really. You kind of get to hang out with some characters. The 2 wizards? Were they wizards? They had jetpacks and they threw lightning at each other. One was evil, one was good. and they are also just good. They work well as a duo, yin and yang kind of thing. I also think it's interesting that the good one shows up first to warn the bad one not to do it. And then they fight, and then Shaggy gets his heart broken. Oh, if I'm taking that into account, the Mei Ling thing, I might put it up in bottom of very good. You know what? If I'm taking the whole episode into account, because I'm never just gonna rank the episodes, um, I'm gonna give it that. Stand and Deliver. The Dandy Highwayman is gonna go at good. I think that Dandy Highwayman suffers from being late in the series and being a street level villain, and that's always weird because the stakes keep getting higher, and it's like just a guy with a motorcycle who takes women. I guess the taking women thing is kind of problematic, but he's still a rad guy and performed well by whoever plays him. For this next thing, I'm gonna take into account all the hallucinations from that one episode. That episode's really cool, really memorable. You get to see like the benevolent lodge of mystery, and then like more supernatural stuff, the fear wood or whatever. Then you hear they go the Burlington Library. It's a cool episode. I love that episode so much. Also, all my fellow Shaggy x Daphne shippers will remember the makeout scene, and yeah, that was a good episode. And also the bad guy at the end, just like being so thankful he was going to prison, was also kind of funny. Um, the Freak of Crystal Cove from episode whatever the heck was it? Why isn't it letting me grab you and put you at the best? Because he's the best villain in the series by far to me. Episode 24 of Scooby Doo is probably my favorite. All Fear the Freak, um, where they're going out, and it sets up season 2. It ends the series pretty strongly and pulls on your heartstrings when you find out it's Fred's dad. And I love the design, and it's just like so freaking memorable to me. And I wish I could glaze it more, but I will not glaze it more than I have to here. And we have episode 1, whatever from below or whatever. Kind of just a basic episode of Scooby Doo that actually sets up the series as a whole very well. So for that reason alone, it gets points. Also, the slime and the Fruit Myers. Fruit Myers should have come up more. I think it did come up multiple times in the series, so that was cool. Professor Pericles' poltergeist. Freaking. The outfit's lazy, but if we're taking the episode into account. Oh, you know what? That episode was very interesting. That was a very interesting episode where you find out that Fred's dad faked being pulled in. Then it also kind of sets up the end of the episode 20, 4 or whatever. It's really cool. This dude, I remember watching this episode younger, and this guy scared the fudge out of me. Is he very good? I'm actually tempted to bring these guys up because I like them so much. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I also kind of want to bring him up too, but I don't think he deserves to come up. I think this is a pretty good list though. Yeah, that episode scared me. Pretty freaky, very freaky. And overall a good episode. The Shrunken Head also helps. I'm not gonna move the Shrunken Head though, because they have the same voice, I think. But also it's also kind of a sweet story where she just kind of wants to settle down, which he's not gonna do though. Here is the demon guy from the dream episode. The whole episode being a dream definitely takes points off. It's cool. I feel like they just did it because they were like, we have the rights to access all this other material. We might as well reference it. So they referenced it, and they did a good job with it. Good episode. We have the vampire lady from the one that's friends with Daphne's mom, and kind of gets roasted a lot for being old. Um, she's good. She's good. Um, was a good episode. I also liked that the parts where like Daphne was talking to her like it was just her mom, and was like, "This vampiring is ruining our family." I don't remember this person's name exactly. I'm just not gonna rank them. Um, because they really didn't weren't a villain. Um, they were helping. They were looking for the disc or whatever. But here is Aphrodite, memorable episode, and is the episode where Scooby-Doo and Pericles team up. But it was all kind of just a ruse for Pericles to obtain materials. So it's whatever. Um, the episode's memorable to me. Honestly, kind of get it confused sometimes with Alice May. Um, will also go up there, right next to each other because they're very similar. Um, but they're both very well executed. Also, well, I think Aphrodite's like for prom, and like the other one's just like also prom. So it's like they did two prom episodes. It was kind of weird in that regard to me. Be My Boyfriend Randy is also very memorable. Also, it's Alice May because they set it up in the cold open. Okay. Oh, we're closing off on a good streak. Baba Yaga, really good. The house is CG, not my favorite. Um, and the last scene where like it's the 2D animated figure falling out of the 3D house looks terrible. Other than that, really good episode. Sets up them getting more pieces. The stuff with Velma and Mr. E and Hot Dog Water, and just overall does a good job. Really memorable episode, which I say a lot, but like most of this stuff's memorable to me because I remember what happened. So, here is Dark Lilith. Here she goes. Very good. It's Hot Dog Water. I think it's really cute that Velma recognizes that it's her. It's gay. It's cute. And overall, good design. Takes it, calls back to the Manticore really nicely, and really fun. I am the Obliteratrix, and I am good or very good. I'm gonna go good. Probably top of good. Okay. Cool combat sequences, but it's just Alice May again. And that's the original Mystery Incorporated. I don't know what I want to do with them. Because undoubtedly I need to rank. Because I just ranked that one Pericles there when Pericles should technically be in best by default. Still rank those based off their appearance. But now I get to do the fun part. I would say my favorite is the Freak. Danny Darrow, Crybaby Clown. I would do Rude Boy, Evil Entity, Manticore, Humungonaut, Faceless Dude, and then the original Mystery Inc. Mr. E is also a really interesting character, and I love him. I love his whole arc, so that works. Then I'm gonna speed run doing these, just see if like, is there anything, just like who would be at the top of these. Definitely the mummy, the cicada creature, the gnome are very good to be at the top. I'd throw the slime guy from the first episode because I remember him, because I've probably seen that episode a lot. Baba Yaga's also definitely a top tier as far as very goods go. And then, this is also one. And then the rest of it's kind of all at a similar level. I actually probably bring him down towards the bottom, along with Krampus. Krampus is probably also towards the bottom of very good. But I like the rest of this rankings good. for good, the best one in here, I'll throw Scare Bear at the top. I think Scare Bear might get it. I think he just suffers from being kind of boring of a design. Then you got that episode, which is good. I'll throw him up here because he's consistent throughout the show. Everybody else should be higher. Yeah, this tier is good. The bad tier is pretty good. You know what? I'll do. You know what? I feel like putting him in. I'll keep him in bad just to diversify it, just because I think it's kind of a stupid, not my favorite episode. Okay, so worst. So if we're going worst, it's just kind of like not existent. It's just people who barely count and shouldn't even be on this list, in my opinion. And then everything above that is, um, I guess by that logic, I shouldn't even rank the pizza. But I guess we're just being weird about pizza. Um, yeah, that was fun. Honestly, going through all that. Um, this is a pretty good representation of how I feel about the show in general. Like what episodes I think are better than others. Um, when we get towards the bottom, like these are episodes I think are good, um, but not necessarily like ones that I liked as much. And then up here, these are all like really amazing episodes. Like all of these good and very goods, I would watch at any point, and will be happy to rewatch. The rest of these are kind of stuff that I will watch when I watch the show, um, and I'm just not as excited to watch it because I think the show is perfect. So I hope that makes sense. Ranking stuff bad that I also think is like really good, but it's that's what you gotta do. Okay, I've been ranting about Mystery Incorporated for 45 minutes. I'm gonna go to bed.